Good evening. Hi, YouTube. How you doing? All right. I'm trying to do this. Someone just asked me an interesting question in my comments from the last video I did. So I'm going to try to answer it. Okay. It says, I know that you cover various topics. This is from Rona Love. I know that you cover various topics, but another hot topic has been the Tekashi 6ix9ine story in regards to snitching. And although I'm not a rapper's fan, but because I'm old school, preferably, would love to hear your thoughts about snitching. And I thank you in advance for your consideration to do so. One love until blessing and beyond, sweetie. Thank you, sweetie. Okay, so she's asking about Tekashi 6ix9ine, this rapper, right? This young guy, he had a big mouth. He ended up getting busted, and he's implicated in a lot of drug crimes. And now he's apparently out, or he's snitched. I don't know enough about that case. I haven't really followed it. I barely know who these people are, these young people. But I was vaguely familiar with this guy because I saw him in a Breakfast Club. Yeah, so the subject is snitching. Okay, here's my thoughts on it. And I've been snitched on many times. I went to prison 10 times. I know I've talked about this before, talk about it for this conversation. I've been snitched on many times. I went to prison 10 times, and 9 of those times were the result of information obtained by a confidential informant. In other words, they always black the names out, so you don't know who did it. Someone who I did some kind of business with got busted. They traded my freedom for their own, so they walked and I went to prison, right? Now, I was in the game at the time, so were these other people who would know enough about my business to set me up. They were snitches. They snitched. It snitched because we were both in the same thing, doing the same thing. We were both doing the same crimes. We were both guilty, and they turned me in for their own benefit. That is snitching. Now, I've seen someone who I strongly suspect was one of the people who turned me in. I've seen him on the street, actually at the hospital, taking tests or whatever. And no, I don't hold it against him now because I'm clean. I'm clean and he's clean. So I don't carry things over from the streets until now, right? That's what happens out there. Doing crime, you're taking a chance. Anytime you're doing a crime with anybody, you're taking a chance. Brings me back to this Jussie Spollett thing. I haven't heard people coming hard at these 2 guys that were his accomplices. I haven't heard people calling them snitches, but technically, I don't know. I knew they were going to talk. And nobody's going down for something like that. First of all, they were not in a crime with him. They were paid to do something for him. And I think that's what makes the difference. They were paid to do something for him. He did some sloppy work and ended up getting them involved in a serious crime. Right? Did I expect them to hold their water? I knew if they caught him, they were going to tell. They ain't going to go to jail for you. But they were paid to do something, and they did it. So I guess, I don't know. Some people will say that's snitching. Some people would say, well, that's just a chance you take when you involve people in your shit. Right? This guy, Tekashi 6ix9ine, sounds like he snitched. His life is going to be very complicated. How's he going to record records and particularly travel and go into these big crowds? That ain't going to happen. He done, just like Jussie messed his up, and this dude done messed his up. But when they get you, when they bust you, and you are guilty, and they start coming at you with 10, 15, 20 years, Everybody's got a number. Fortunately, I never had to do that. I always knew I was guilty going through my little time. When you're on parole, you end up doing a few months in jail. So I just took that as part of the game. Some people won't do that. They can't take it. They won't do time for you. So snitching is in the game. Now, if I am a regular citizen and somebody comes and robs me and I call the police, that's not snitching. That's just a citizen reporting a crime. If you're being victimized by somebody and you're not a criminal yourself, like that's why they get away with robbing drug dealers. See, they rob drug dealers because they know drug dealers are not going to call the cops. See, it's either in or out of that game. If you are a drug dealer and you get robbed by somebody and you know who it is, if you call the cops, that is definitely snitching. You're a snitch. So that's why these mafias and things grew, because people, these criminals had nobody to protect them. You couldn't call the cops. It means you're a rat. So I don't know. I wouldn't consider these guys who gave his information unjustly. I don't know that I would consider them snitches. It's not like they were a part of a conspiracy where they were going to be paid like he was, It was just his crime. They were just paid to do something. So that's on him. Anytime you involve someone else in your shit, you run a chance on them telling. You know what I mean? So as far as Tekashi 69, I don't know anything about the situation. I know it's going to be very hard for him to have a career going forward. The way them rappers and the people in that genre kill each other and shoot each other and all that kind of stuff, I don't think I'll be walking to no big crowds of people after that situation. But I'm sure he probably feels like like he had a much better chance than going and doing 30 years in prison. So they say everybody's got a number. When they start talking 20, a lot of times cops will manipulate you. They'll threaten you with, this is life in prison. You can get 30 years and all that. And a lot of times you're going to do nothing but a few months. But you scare the shit out of the people and you spill their guts. A lot of times that means you got to move out of town, move your family out of town. I mean, I'm just glad that wasn't in my character to rat nobody out, snitch nobody. And I took pride in that when I was on the streets. That could be trusted, at least there was honor among thieves. But now that I'm no longer part of that, I'm just a citizen. Anybody do something to me, your ass is going to jail. All right, I know I rambled a little bit. But I hope that answers your question, Rona Love. Yeah. You're a regular citizen. Somebody jumps on you, hits you in your face, call the police. Later.